Senior investigative correspondent Drew Griffin explains if the whistleblower's allegations are true, Pruitt may have violated federal law.
Altering, sanitizing official government records to protect the boss could lead to legal trouble.
If somebody changed, deleted, scrubbed a federal record with the intent of deceiving the public or intent of deceiving anybody, could very well be a violation of federal.
The default button was meeting with staff.
Want some examples? The most controversial deletion of all, according to Chmielewski, came after Pruitt's $120,000 taxpayer-funded trip to Rome in June 2017.
Have you or someone you love ever been in a tornado or car accident? Experienced sexual or physical abuse? Served in a war zone? Most people have been through some kind of life-threatening or traumatic event, and it's common to have stress-related reactions after a trauma. But when symptoms last more than 3 months and they're not getting better, it's time to get help. Meet Sam. He recently returned from serving in Iraq. For many people, being in a crowded place like a baseball stadium or busy grocery store feels comfortable, but not for Sam. What should be a nice night out, taking his wife Tara to a restaurant, isn't fun for him anymore. He can only handle it if he sits with his back to the wall where he has a good view of the exits, and even then, he's too on edge to really enjoy it. At home, things aren't the way they used to be either. His sleep is restless at best, and some nights Tara isn't sure if Sam comes to bed at all. Sam seems to have a short fuse these days, and sometimes he snaps at Tara over tiny misunderstandings. What he and Tara never talk about is the trauma he experienced when he was deployed. He's never mentioned the guilt, the weight he carries around, wishing he could have done more to prevent what happened. Instead, he's turned inward, pulling away from family and friends. Tara tried to give him some space, but after months passing without change, she really started to worry. She was the one to finally say what they were both thinking. It's time to get help. That's when Sam finally decided to take action. He reached out to a doctor who told him about PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder. Sam's symptoms were getting in the way of enjoying his life. Re-experiencing.
Go figure, I used to teach literacy to the special needs kids who never got it, see?
Hyper-arousal, feeling worse about yourself or the world, and avoidance are the 4 types of symptoms people with PTSD have. Sam's doctor explained each. The first is reliving the event, or re-experiencing. This is often an unwanted memory or even a flashback where you feel like you're right back in the situation again. Seeing, hearing, or even smelling something that reminds you of the trauma can trigger these. Nightmares where you relive parts of the event in your sleep are common too. The second is avoidance. Staying away from situations that remind you of the trauma. That's why Sam tries to avoid thinking about painful memories altogether. He pours himself into his work or uses alcohol to keep his mind from going back to the trauma. The third is feeling worse about yourself or the world since the trauma. You might feel overwhelming guilt, like Sam, or not trust anyone. You just might not be able to feel happy, even when you are around people you love. The fourth type of symptom is sudden rushes of anger, irritability, feeling jittery, always on alert, always on the lookout for danger. This is called hyper-arousal, and loud noises or a driver cutting in front of you can be all it takes to set you off. If you recognize any of these symptoms of PTSD in yourself or someone you love, don't wait. See your doctor to find out if it could be PTSD. Just like Sam and Tara found, there is hope. You don't have to live with the symptoms of PTSD forever. To learn more about PTSD or how to get help, visit the National Center for PTSD website at www.ptsd.va.gov.
So this was a situation. That's when you kind of know something's wrong.
This EPA whistleblower says Scott Pruitt and his staff kept secret calendars or schedules detailing many meetings with industry representatives that have never been made public. A secret calendar containing the actual events was printed out. Then staff would gather around a table, determine which events would be kept on, which would be kept off, and which would be altered.
The default button was meeting with staff.
Want some examples? The most controversial deletion of all, according to Chmielewski, came after Pruitt's $120,000 taxpayer-funded trip to Rome in June 2017. That trip included extensive interaction with Catholic Cardinal George Pell, who was charged with multiple historical charges of sexual offenses a few weeks later, to which Pell pleaded not guilty. But this itinerary shows a tour with Cardinal Pell. It's not on Pruitt's official calendar. Also missing, a lunch with Cardinal Pell.
All of our time at the Vatican was spent with Cardinal Pell. Cardinal Pell was basically our host.
Yet none of those tours, dinners, and lunches appeared later when Scott Pruitt released his official calendar. Chmielewski says that was intentional.
Once we came back and the Cardinal was actually charged with these offenses, I alerted them, and that's when it was basically taken off the schedule that we met with Cardinal Pell.
Chmielewski says he was fired from the EPA after raising questions about Scott Pruitt's extravagant spending. He supports Donald Trump and Donald Trump's pledge to drain the D.C. swamp. Keeping Pruitt at EPA makes no sense.
If there's something wrong, I don't care if it's Republican or Democrat, right's right and wrong's wrong, and what he's doing right now is completely wrong.
You ain't got their life. And have a little more gratitude. Because what my belief is, it's not attitude. No, wait, it is attitude. Sorry. Attitude is gratitude. I don't like to be rude, but I will use my voice. It's a teacher voice, see? I don't give a shit no more. Everything is happening in front of me, which means if it's happening inside of me, it's gotta be happening inside of you. I just learned to talk about it for 3 years, dealing with an injury as I'm being forced to go back in the past, screaming and how their lives. But because I got to go back there twice, holy shit, I got to see what they do and their way of, what's the word, collude? That's another word I learned this year, and it caused me to trigger every word I've earned and why. Go figure, I used to teach literacy to the special needs kids who never got it, see? And that's why I lost all my words, because of my history. Fine. Oh, another great thing that I learned with nerves, they like to glide. I keep saying this. They also like to stretch. So, here's a really good tip. If you're sitting or you're standing and you need some if you're prolonged sitting or standing and you need some movement, for me it's in my arms and I have to shift. Stretch your fingers, okay? It really helps. And you can do it secretly, see? Nobody ever has to know. And why would I care so much? Well, I never thought people would stigmatize me, but they did. But not anymore, because I can describe it all. I can describe the nerves going all the way through me, even through my backside. See, it's not private no more, not when it comes to the body. In galore, because I want to make sure that everyone has a way to talk about what's indescribable. The hurts they are trying to talk to me about are not comfortable. But what I will say with 100% ease is that absolutely not is mental illness a disease of the person. They need to understand it's multiple intelligence. It's the other people, the ones throwing it at you. Because the truth is too hard, and why we have literature for. All right, thanks, y'all. This is the first time. The first time, so I repeat myself, is outside of my house and recognizing the ABC antecedent was a call from, not gonna say how their shit's so cray, and what I did, the behavior, is to get stuck. I did my little system, which I'm trying, never gonna give it up. C, consequence, which means what happens after behavior, is I got to move in the function of all of this. Well, hello, it's so that I can continue to groove. All right, hooray.